What's up, guys? In this video, I've got two picks for you. These picks are going to be sportsbook plays against the spread, and I'm super excited about these plays. I'm actually going to make the drive out to Louisiana, and I'll probably put 10 grand on each of these. Unless I get nervous, then I'll put 5. But right now, I feel pretty confident that worst case, I'll go 1-1, and it'll be no harm, no foul. But I really think I have a good shot at going 2-0 here. And I don't always do sportsbook plays on this channel. This channel is built on Prize Picks, DFS Pick'em style apps, Chalkboard, Sleeper Fantasy, Better, DraftKings Pick 6, the apps like that I can use in Texas. And I do it at a professional level in Texas. But every now and then, I'll need to run to the border and get down on BetMGM or DraftKings Sportsbook. And I think this is one of those weekends. This is a slam spot is what I call it. And it just means you're gonna slam one or two plays, and sometimes the stars align, man. And I think that's what's happened here. So the first one I'm gonna talk about is Tennessee, Oklahoma. So Tennessee's got a young quarterback, but they have a stacked team around him. And he's a talented quarterback too. So he's a little bit unproven. I think Tennessee's still under the radar to most people. They are 14-1 to win the national title right now. So they're not too far under the radar. They're definitely known by and respected by Vegas in that regard to win the national title. I think Tennessee is probably the 4th best team in the SEC. I think it would go Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, Tennessee. Those three are kind of a little three-way tie for 3rd in the SEC, okay? So, they're 3rd to 5th. And I think they will make the college football playoff. I think they'll be the 8 to 11 seed in the college football playoff. And it starts with a big win here at OU. OU has looked really bad to me. And there's a difference, guys, between coming out flat and actually showing reasons for concern. Georgia last week came out flat. I'm not concerned about Georgia. Even though they looked bad last week, I'm not knocking them too far down in my rankings. I'm not worried about them because when they play a ranked opponent, when it's a big time matchup, they're going to bring their A game, and they can't be beat when they bring their A game unless it's Texas or Ohio State or a team like that playing them. With OU, they looked like shit, and I think it's because they're not as good as, some people had hoped they would be. They're about as good as Vegas said they were. I thought that they might have been a little underrated coming into the season, so I kept a close eye on Oklahoma. And it turns out Tennessee's the team that was underrated. Tennessee is very legit. They have one of the best front sevens in all of college football. Jackson Arnold's going to be in for a long day. And they've got all the weapons on offense to expose this OU defense. Defense has been an issue for OU really for the last 15 years. It's been their Achilles heel is their defense can't get it together. So you give me Tennessee minus 7 points, I think they win by a lot here. And the icing on the cake for me, the cherry on top that made this like a no-brainer. I already was sold. I loved it. I'm ready to pull the trigger. I'm ready to drive to Louisiana right now and slam this. But what gave me some extra encouragement and motivation is the old offensive coordinator for OU got fired, and he left on bad terms. There's bad blood. He's not saying anything. He's not giving out any bulletin board material. But deep down, this is a guy that's going to put his foot on the gas. And the way that he's played the first few games, he doesn't mind running the score up. So a little sprinkle on Tennessee minus 20 points is probably a good idea here. I think Tennessee's going to go out, and I think they're going to dominate OU. I think it'll look a little bit like Texas at Michigan. Michigan, I think, was a 3-point favorite, something like that, 7-point favorite. Texas crushed them. I think Tennessee's about to do the same to OU here. And this is OU's first SEC conference game. Probably not the easiest one that you could have drawn in Tennessee. Tennessee's probably the last team I'd want to play. I'd rather take on Georgia or Alabama, where at least if you get roughed up, you can say, hey, man, well, it's Alabama, dude. We can still be a top 5 SEC team, but they're on another level. With Tennessee, it's not going to be it's not going to be a good sight to see for the recruits that OU is inviting in to watch the game. So I love Tennessee -7. Another game I love is a Big Ten game, a newcomer to the Big Ten, USC versus Michigan. I think this game's going to look a lot like Texas-Michigan, and I hope that public bettors aren't thinking that way. I hope that they're not. They might be, but hopefully not, because if the public gets on it too hard, we will lose some of the value here. But we can get USC -5.5 right now. I think that's a no-brainer, man. Michigan's a mess. I don't think Michigan was that good last year. People give me shit all the time, man, for the Washington futures bet. First off, I didn't pick who Washington played in the championship when I placed that bet, but I'm telling you, I was celebrating Michigan getting there over Georgia or Alabama, or even, not having to deal with Oregon. I was more afraid of Oregon than Michigan. They just let Michigan get away with so much shit with holding on offensive line and in the secondary. Holding receivers, tackling receivers. If the refs let Michigan defense commit pass interference every single play, yeah, it's hard for Miller Moss to throw the ball around the field. But the only time I've seen that happen is in the national title. And maybe Vegas needed Michigan to win. Who knows? I don't know, man. But Michigan was never that good. They're not that good this year. They're damn sure not that good this year. And on the flip side, USC got better. I like Miller Moss over Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is an emotional train wreck. His athleticism and skill is 10 out of 10. But as a leader, as a man, he's emotionally out of whack. And you do not want your leader, whether it's war or it's football, you don't want your leader painting his nails being an emotional wreck. It's so funny, man, how we can't just come out and say this. They can't say this on ESPN. But I'll tell you right now, I was in the Army for 10 years. If our commander showed up and he was super fit, super talented, holy shit, look at him. He runs a 11-minute 2-mile. Look at this guy. But he paints his nails. Do you understand the freaking problem that would have with the boys? The boys in the locker room? It would be a mess. No one would take him seriously. Nobody would take him seriously. And a football locker room is very similar to an Army infantry unit. It's very similar. I've been in both, and I'm telling you, it's very similar. It's alpha males. It's guys being tough around each other and pushing each other to their limits. And there's no room for bitching. There's no room for weakness. And when you got your leader painting his nails, it's not good. But not just painting his nails, the way that his facial expressions are throughout the game, it's a mess. And this is not a video to slam Caleb Williams, but I'm very frustrated with that guy. I believed in him to get to game manage. He can't even game manage. So when we look at how crappy Caleb looks, and I watched it last year, I wasn't too impressed with Caleb either. That's why I bet on Washington to win the Pac-12. Miller Moss is an upgrade. He's an upgrade even if his arm's not as good, his running ability is not as good, and his arm's just as good. I think his arm's great. He's an upgrade at quarterback. And their defense added a ton of size through the transfer portal and through, however they figured out how to add 40 pounds to a lot of the guys that were there last year. It's not easy to gain 40 pounds, but they figured out a way, and they're eligible. I don't know what the drug testing is, what the steroid testing is in college football. I don't think I've ever heard of a college football player getting popped for PEDs. Isn't that interesting? Has any college football player ever got suspended for steroids? That's really interesting. But you don't hear about it in the NFL either much. I bet you all these guys are on steroids, man. But they gained 40 pounds, however they did it, and they're still eligible to play. You looked at what they did versus LSU. I think LSU's a better football team than Michigan this year. Even last year, they were pretty good. But this year, I think LSU is with that offensive line. They've got 2 first-round offensive linemen. And USC stuffed the run. I think USC will stuff the run. USC defense is going to be fine. And USC -5.5 is a fucking slam spot. I'm telling you guys right now, man. Tennessee -7. USC -5.5. Those are the 2 slam spots. I'm going to go put 10 grand on each. and I'm going to be stressed out of my mind watching these games, because when you put that much money down, at least for me, 10 grand's a lot. Still, it's still a lot. It's still scary. Even though, you know, financially I'm doing well. It's, you know, you want to win these slam spots. And I wanted to make this video to let you guys know, if you have access to a sports book, hit those 2 plays hard for me, and I'm confident we're gonna win. I don't always come out and give out sportsbook plays, you guys know that about me, but when I do, it's for a reason, okay? And I feel really good about these 2 plays. Just wanted to share that with you guys. Those are my plays for college football. What is it? College football week 4, week 3? What are we going into, man? Season's coming and going, and it's sad. Every Saturday we lose. I'm just like, man, one less Saturday. But it's the best time of year right now. You gotta enjoy it. You gotta enjoy the 7-day cycle. And soon, we're gonna have college football on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, which will mean we got 7 days of football a week. And that is the greatest 90-day stretch of the year, when you have 90 days straight of football games. And I love it, man. I love the weather, love this time of year. And I'm super grateful for you guys who watch my channel. I appreciate y'all so much. It's so fun to bet for a living, to share your picks with people that care about them. And without you guys, you know, my life would not be as good. So thank you for watching the video. Thanks for supporting the channel. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Check it out. I'm unfiltered. I'm raw. I'll tell you how it is. I'm unapologetic. And if you don't like me, don't follow me. If you like me, follow me. It's that simple. And we're building a solid group here on the SBE channel. That's all I've got for you guys. I'll see y'all in the next video. Have a good day, and good luck with all your bets.